Alright, welcome back to Universe X, and today we're going to talk about my favorite picks from Supreme Rivalry. As most people know, the set did get pushed back. I think my own pre-release went from the beginning of May to the 16th of May just because of the pushbacks, and this isn't exactly a problem. I don't mind. It gives us a little more chance to breathe, elongates the format a little bit. I am looking forward to something new, but it is what it is. I think in the middle of a pandemic, there's nothing wrong with slowing it down a little bit. But I was looking at the cards, and these aren't necessarily like, oh, cards I think are just like off the Richter scale, because there are some archetype specific cards that are very, very strong. And if you guys want me to go into those, just let me know in the comments and I can make another video about the archetype specific ones. But in terms of this is actually just like cards that are generically like, like I can see them just doing a lot of things. I like their potential longevity for the game. It just feels really, really nice. So that being said, I just want to give the normal plugs. If you haven't been in the Facebook group, try doing that. It's actually going to be pretty knowledgeable and fun. There's a lot of stuff that goes around. You'll meet a lot of people that share your interests, and it's pretty good. The other part I was gonna say is the Hermit style, like podcast in conjunction with Spiral Now Graphics, soon to be TCG Metals. They're doing their giveaway for the Golden Medal Launch Leader, and you should definitely go to the link in my description to kind of look at their info, see what it's about, and hop in on that, because it's a beautiful card, and all you have to do is follow some people and, you know, drop your comment, and you could win a very, very nice card. So I think it's completely worth. Next on the list, just want to plug the Twitch channel. Right now I'm doing a playthrough of Digimon Cyber Sleuth just because I really wanted to play a JRPG again and decided, you know what, if I'm gonna play a game, why not stream it? So I just kind of do that sporadically, but if you ever want to know when's the next time to stream, just comment on the video and I'll respond, you know. Need to get a little bit faster on my responses, been a little busy lately. The last part I just wanted to say was I was thinking about doing a weekly live where I just chat to you guys, and you know, we can talk about the TCG, we can talk about Digimon TCG, we can talk about Dragon Ball in general, whatever you want to talk about. So if you think that would be a cool thing just to have a weekly live where people can just jump in and talk, let me know in the comments and we'll make it happen. I actually really like chatting with you guys, and I understand like the Discord's there, but you know, just other avenues as well. So yeah, really just let me know. Now, moving past that, we're gonna jump into the cards. Like I said, these are not necessarily archetype specific, but if you want me to go on about archetypes, just also let me know in the comments and I'll be glad to make a video about that. So the first one I wanted to talk about, once it loads, there's gonna be a cut here because it's taking forever to load. There's definitely be a cut here. King Vegeta's Imposing Presence. Lots of people have been looking at this card, and it's SPR, it's like squad goals. So King Vegeta's Imposing Presence, counterattack. If your leader card is a mono red sand card, you may choose the attacking card, ignoring barrier, and it gets minus 10,000 power for the turn. Your opponent can't attack with cards this for the turn unless they give the attacking card minus 5,000 power for the turn each time. You can activate copies of this card from your hand for the turn. Cool. Permanent, if your life is at 3 or less, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost by choosing one card in your hand and discarding it. Okay. So, I've heard some really cool things about this, and I've heard some very, I'm not gonna even sugarcoat it, kind of dumb opinions about this card. When it comes to dumb opinions about this card, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but people are like, man, like they can't attack unless they give something minus 5,000. Oh no, seems kind of weak. Okay, if you feel like that, I want you to look at the card Senzu Bean. And while Senzu Bean untaps energy, don't get me wrong, that part is a huge part about it. One of the main things about Senzu Bean is that it provides a 500 or 5,000 power cushion. You know, your leader goes up to 20k. Cool. And sometimes when Senzu Bean happens, people have to start turning their aggression to your battle cards because they don't want to have to combo extra power. Now, this card is going to minus 10k on the attacking thing. You feel me? Like, if you were leader to leader, you're now hitting, you know, 15k to the 5k. You know, your leader's 15k, their leader's 5k. Or if, you know, the thing was 20k and now it's 10k and they've got to combo over you. It changes the landscape of the initial swing, but that extra 5,000 is a sensu bean on everything. And it's not even just the leader. Like, your opponent cannot tap with cards for the turn unless they minus 5k. That's actually very, very, very huge. So this card is phenomenal. It's another stopgap, and now the deck might actually have a little too much, because they can violent raise you for 20k and above, and then play this card, and then essentially everything they swing in that's 15k has to swing in with 10k, and that's crazy. Like, could you imagine both those cards going off on one turn and knowing that you're just probably not getting through Red's defenses? And that sounds very weird, because getting through Red's defenses has always not even been a feat. It's like throwing a cannonball through a massive sheet of wet toilet paper. Like, it's just wild. So I'm gonna move on to the next card. That card is absolutely stupid in conjunction with what we already have. Next card is Frieza, Demolisher of Planet Vegeta. Now this card is kind of archetype specific, but I don't think they're going to stop making 2-drop extra cards for green. It just seems like, if anything, they might just make some that aren't archetype locked but can still be slotted in the archetype. So this card, auto, when it's played, draw 1 card, so it's a cantrip. That's always good. 1 for 1, replace itself. Auto, 2 green, choose 1 green extra card with energy cost of 2 or less, and that's wonderful too. And the field skill in your battle area, place it in its owner's drop area. When this card is played, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and KO them. And this card gains plus 16 power going to 20k and double strike until the end of your opponent's turn. Alright, this is nutty. Green just got a board wipe, and that is just, I can't explain how good this is. A 3-cost board wipe. I don't know what you want me to say. That this is disgusting. And yes, it does have a little bit of startup, but if green starts playing more field cards, and this doesn't have to be a 2-drop, this could be a 1-drop field card, this is just very, very nasty. I mean, you're able to just play this guy for 1, play it for 3, or pay its energy cost for a total of 3, and then just blow up the entire board. So yeah, even though it doesn't ignore barrier, that would be a little too strong. This is a massive W for the green color as a whole, and will allow it to, you know, survive some aggro points that it may not have survived before. So the next card I'm going to go into is Cooler Effortless Strike. Counterplay, play this card, and if the battle card being played has an energy cost of 4 or less, it is placed its owner's drop area instead of being played. Permanent, during your opponent's turn, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each green extra card in your battle area and drop area. When this card is played, if your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, they choose 1 card in their hand and discard it. Okay, so this is actually really neat. Early in the game, it's very easy to have above 8 cards, so it's almost going to be for certain a minus, you know, a drop 1 from hand. It's also a 15k body, and that minus 1 from hand is going to come into play a lot of the points in the game. But the real cool part is, if you're playing this in the King Cold deck, it's always going to be live. But if you're playing this in even Turles, I mean, you got your field card on board, so you can definitely be able to run this card, and it'll come out for 3 at that point, which is a little hefty. But think about it, a Kill Driver, a Dormant Engrave, and this thing will come out for 1, just like it would in the field card, or in the field card based deck. So I think that's actually very, very nutty. I think this card is going to be a great card for green. If you're running extra cards and you're, you know, putting cards in grave from the top like Dredge, you can even play this easily too. Like, this card is very interesting because it works really well with the archetype, but there is no limit to how long this card can stay in the format as a general good card. I love it. I love it for that. The next one, lots of people have been hearing about this. Power of a Super Saiyan. Counterattack, negate the attack. Permanent, if you have 1 or more mono yellow energy in active mode, you can activate this Activate Battle skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. Its Activate Battle is if your leader is mono yellow, draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, unison cards, switch it to rest mode. Can't activate the Activate Battle on a skill like this. So this, or for the rest of the turn, this is actually a really, really good card. In normal decks, it's going to allow you to, for free, draw a card to replace itself and tap down your opponent's battle card or unison. Wonderful. However, it's turbo stupid in Mecha Frieza, because when you activate the Activate Battle but you choose to take life, you're going to play the card, draw a card from life, draw a card from this card's effect, so making it a +1, and you're going to tap down something. Yeah, it's really strong. There's not really much to say about this card. It can enable plenty of things. You're tapping your opponent's card, so you can enable your things like Burnout. You can can enable you can enable a bunch of things off of this card, and it fits right into Mecha Frieza, but it's also going to be a very good asset for yellow in general. And the fact that even outside of tapping, you can just play it for a negate means it has, look, you know, its utility is its utility. You can use it for multiple things, and they're all good. The next card, SS Trunks Altering the Future. He's a 3-cost yellow unison, dual attack for 20k. That's always gonna be a little bit of pressure, but at the same time, +0 activate main, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode, and if that card is injury cost of 4 or less, negate its skills for the turn and KO it. That's actually very, very good. So if a card has a effect that happens when it gets destroyed, you know, you can just like turn it aside, smite it. That's very, very nice. And also activate main, -3, draw a card, and then choose all of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, KO them. So yellow, for the first time ever, has a usable, for the most part, you know, just board wipe. I think this is amazing. This card may not be like just broken, but I think for what the color does, this is a new effect to that color. And now boards that go wide and tap themselves out have to run the risk of being negated and blocked to oblivion and then being nuked the next turn. Now I'm going to start their progress all over. This is the card that I don't think will ever really go, like, it may not be used immediately, but I don't think it's ever going to fade out of the format because it's just a good yellow card. Next, another unison, Demigra, Momentary Ally. Auto once per turn, burst 1 if your leader card is a black sand only or god card. I just said god card, like Obelisk, Cypher, and Ra just came into my head. Or Osiris if you watch the sub, because Cypher is an executive at 4Kids and they just changed Osiris to Cypher because of reasons. But the more you know. Yeah, when you play this battle card using Overwhelm, this card gains Wormhole for the turn. Very neat. +1, activate main, place up to 2 black battle cards from your warp in your drop area. Very good for any black deck that uses Overwhelm. Activate main, add up to 2 battle cards with injury cost of 7 or less and the Overwhelm skill from your warp to your hand, so you can recycle some of your assets. This card comes out for 1, it's a 9k, so it can kind of be swung on by anything, so you have to make sure that you're +1ing it. You have to make sure that maybe you have some blockers, like this guy needs to be protected because he probably won't stay on the field for too long. However, in exchange for that, he does a lot of good for him. You Overwhelm, and he's going to add 1 card from your top of your deck to your graveyard to better prepare for your next Overwhelm because he's gonna get Wormhole. That's amazing. His +1 is going to also, so he can generate 3 cards per turn on his own, regardless of any leader effects, any card effects, and that's half an Overwhelm most of the time. His activate main is going to recycle thing, and recycle Overwhelms to your hand. I think that's actually wonderful too. So the cool thing about this guy is the fact that Wormhole in the right deck goes brazen. Like, it's actually going to be able to do a whole lot of things, especially in Kai. If you haven't gotten into Kai, maybe I'll make a video about that. I got some friends working on it. There's a lot to talk about there. But the only thing I would advise for people is to understand that Dark Overwhelm and Overwhelm are not the same thing. I got caught up trying to use the SS4 Gohan unison because he actually can, you know, tick up based off Overwhelm. But that's Overwhelm. That's not Dark Overwhelm. Don't make that mistake. Don't be like me. This guy needs to have Overwhelm. So if you're trying to get Wormhole, you need to use the Overwhelm effect first to get Wormhole, and then you can use your Dark Overwhelm. Alright, public service announcement over. The next one is Supreme Kai of Time Labyrinth Unleashed. I've talked about this card in my last video, so I'm not really going to talk about it too much again, but it's a negate. Any black deck really can activate this negate as early as turn 1. Some of them can be more comfortable on turn 2, like Dark Broly. When it comes down for 1, it's going to provide a body. It's going to provide 5k combo if you need to keep comboing that turn, and it's going to warp one of your opponent's other battle cards. So it stops 2 attacks if you really think about it. Negates 1, removes another. This card is nutty. I love it, and I'm going to be getting my hands on at least 3. So holla at your boy. Next card, we got Android 17 and 18, Demonic Duo. Deflect dual attack. If your leader card is yellow, at the end of this battle where this card is used in a combo, play this card from your drop area. For 2, of course, because it is combo 10k for 2. Auto, when this card is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, choose up to one of your opponent's cards and switch to rest mode. Once per turn, auto, choose one of your yellow android battle cards and switch it to rest mode. When your opponent's card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and negate a skill for turn. Okay, so this card is the most archetype specific out of any of the cards I've put on here, but I like it because cards that come into play via combo are cards that you can kind of sneak under the radar. Your opponent sees your board and they think this is the board they're going to be ending on, and you sneak in another card. Then it's also got deflect, so they can't really do anything about it. Then on top of that, it's got dual attack. And the dual attack is very spicy because a 19k dual attack is pressure. Your opponent has to combo 1 to get over it, but if you put a 5k on it, they have to combo 2. It's kind of the same math regardless because it's not 20k, but the whole thing is though, this card is pressure that you can sneak in off open energy. You can keep your energy open, your opponent can aggress, and if you still have energy open, you can block and attack and play this. Very, very neat. Then, if your deck does actually have Android cards, it gains even more functions on its last auto. So I think this card is very, very strong, and for a rare, it has a lot of potential. Plus that art is nasty. Foil's gonna be coming in hot. So next you got King Cold Supreme Ruler. Counterattack, negate the attack and play this card. Permanent, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each extra card in your battle area. So in decks like Turles, minimum, he's just gonna be a 1, or he's gonna be a 2 cost. But in cards like the extra deck, their extra card, field card, King Cold deck, he's going to be a 1 every time. Auto, when this card is played, your opponent can't attack leader cards for the turn unless they choose 1 card in their hand and discard it each time. So this guy is interesting because he doesn't have a limit. He doesn't have the unique, he doesn't have a limit on how many he's played, or he doesn't have that clause that says he can't be played for the rest of the term. If you have 3 energy open, your opponent's trying to go for a game, and you're just like King Cold, negate, King Cold, negate, King Cold, negate. You're just not gonna get through. Yeah, man. This card is low-key busted. It's uncommon. Early game, he's wonderful. Mid game, he might be able to fall off a little bit, but if you have multiples, like 2 may not be enough, because if your opponent has 9 cards in hand, they're probably just going to try to swing at your leader regardless, especially if it's like D-Bro and I can turn that into more swings. But if you put it up at 3, yeah, like there's some things this deck can do, and I think that's really, really funny. Not to mention with these effects, you have to pay cost, and then they get to counter or anything. So dropping 2 and then getting countered could feel worse. Like imagine dropping, like your opponent drops a 1 on you and you have to drop 1 card and he plays another one. You swing again, you have to drop 2 cards and he plays a normal negate. Like it's gonna dwindle your hand really, really fast. So I think this card is actually really hot. And the last one we got Mass Sand Avenger from another dimension. During your turn, this card gains plus 10k power for each red sand card in your battle area. And that doesn't have a energy cost, so that's actually pretty Gucci. Plus 1, activate main, place up to 1 of your red sand cards with an energy cost of 1 in your drop area from your deck, and then shuffle your deck, then draw 1 card. I love this effect because it thins your deck out by 2. You are foolish barreling for anybody who played Yu-Gi-Oh, and then you're drawing a card. Very, very Gucci. Then you got activate main, draw 1 card, choose all of your red sand cards with an energy cost of 3 or less. They gain plus 5,000 power for the turn. This is hot fire. This is actually really, really, really cool. You're boosting up everything, and these things will likely gain effects. If you're playing the actual deck it's supposed to be in, they'll gain their bond effects. But this is actually a very, very versatile unison, and I like it a lot. I think that there are decks that can benefit well. If you're playing this with like a deck like Pan, you're drawing 1 for a summon, and then you're going to be thinning out by 1 and drawing another 1 for this card. You're going to be able to go through your deck very, very fast. So I think this is a very, very neat card. I'm really digging how it's set up, and the art also looks like it's going to be amazing as a foil. So those are my 10 just off the rip picks that I just very interested to see how they play in this set and future sets. I think they will be good cards to pick up and hold on to regardless, or they might just be money cards. So that being said, I will see you guys in the next episode of UniXDBS. Let me know what you want to see. Like I said, that idea for a weekly live is still on the channel, or still on the table. I think, yeah, I'm gonna be streaming Digimon Cyber Sleuth for quite a bit on UXG Live at Twitch. Link will also be in the description. And yeah, literally just let me know what content I can create for you, and I'd be glad to do it. Thanks, you guys have a great day.